Hello everybody. It's my dog again. My dog was giving herself a bath. She hears like the Zoom voice or like the, Flosstube, like I'm filming a video voice or having a video call voice, and she like pops up. Sorry. I'm Amy. I'm Fiber Arts Amy here and on Instagram. Welcome to my Flosstube. This is, I think, Flosstube number 9, I believe. I just filmed a stitch with me, my first stitch with me, a few days ago. But I do have some things to show today, so I wanted to come back and do a regular Flosstube. I actually have 2 amazing FFOs that I'm really, really excited about. And then whips and some new starts, plans, all that kind of fun stuff. And I'll do some quilting a little bit at the end also. I also did a giveaway in my last video, so I will announce the winner of that giveaway today. Today is February 14th, so Valentine's Day 2022. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody, no matter who you celebrate with. I was just thinking earlier today, I sent my kids off to school with like their packs of Valentines for their classes and stuff. Just how things have changed. Like when I was younger, I know for a while there, like Valentine's Day was all about whether or not you had a boyfriend to celebrate it with. And I'm so glad that as I have grown older, it is no longer about that, at least for me. Valentine's Day has very much become a day to celebrate love in all of its forms, and just the fact that I experience, I'm lucky enough to experience love as a grown person now, whether that's love between friends or with a partner, a life partner, or children or grandparents or whatever it is. I'm very lucky to have that in my life, and I just want to say thank you to all of you who've been sharing love with me. In the Flosstube and the stitching community. This has been great getting to make some really nice friends here in the last year or so. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you, if for no other reason than because you're part of the stitching community and we all love each other in the stitching community. So I'm going to jump in with my FFOs. I got a package from Jill Rensel. So great. Yeah, last year. I don't think I've ever shown these on this channel because I think I finished them before I started this channel. But I finished Mermaid Azure, which was a Nora Corbett, like a smaller mermaid, and I finished, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm blanking on the name, the Mirabilia 25th Anniversary Lady Mirabilia. That's what it's called, Lady Mirabilia. And I finally got them back from Jill Rensel, so I want to show them. First, I'm going to show you Mermaid Azure, which I might not be pronouncing correctly, but here she is. Here's the full thing. I'm just thrilled with this. I am so glad I finally jumped in to sending things to Jill Rensel to get framed. I am absolutely thrilled with the job that she and Amber, Amber's the one that I really communicate with and does the painting and whatnot. Absolutely thrilled with the job they do. The sparkles in her hair. I feel like the painting offsets it perfectly. I love the frame. I can't always see what I'm showing you. The painting at the bottom. I love it. Absolutely love it. This was stitched with all of the called for on a 28 count hand painted linen from Crossed Wing Collection. I don't remember what this one was called. It sat in my stash for more than a dozen years. I just love it. Absolutely love it. It's just so sparkly and pretty. I can't wait to hang it up. We have a relatively large bathroom in our cabin, master bath, and I'm going to hang this in there. And I say relatively large because What's really important to me is that it's large enough that it doesn't really get steamed up. And there's like a tiny hot water heater there, so you don't have much hot water there anyway. Because I don't think I'd be hanging this in there if it was gonna get lots of steam. Okay, the other one, which I don't even know how I'm gonna fit this in frame. This is Lady Mirabilia. I finished it, oh, it'll need way back. I finished this, oh my god, it's huge. I finished this last, I think June, maybe July. Oh, I just love stitching her. She is stitched on a 28 count. This is a silk weaver, but it is an old silk weaver. Very old. Like before they were sold or became part of whatever company they are now. I'm actually currently fighting with Silk Weaver to try to get my money back because they have been holding my money hostage for years now without sending me anything. That's a whole other story. But this is old Silk Weaver before that change happened, and I loved their fabrics. Oh, I can't even see what you guys can see. So this was a joy to stitch. I love the like Harlequin diamonds that they painted at the top. I really had no idea what they were going to come up with to paint to complement this design, and I feel like they absolutely knocked it out of the ballpark. I am so happy with it. I did contemplate changing the Mirabilia designs at the bottom. I decided not to because in the end I did want it to be a celebration of Mirabilia and the joy that Mirabilia has brought to my life. Oh gosh, I really love her. She was also another reason to love her, for me to love her, is that I love that purple in her hair. She was stitched during the pandemic. I had started her a couple of years ago, but I stitched her almost entirely while doing the like homeschool thing with my children. I set her up on a frame, a stitching stand on my bed, a scroll frame stand. I had her mounted on scroll bars. She's pretty tall and skinny, so she is on a fat quarter. I set her up on that scroll frame and the embroidery stand, and I'm just gonna let you look at her while I talk, or I'll look at her while I talk at least, because I don't think I'll get tired of it anytime soon. I set her up on that stand and I just left her there most of the day, and she was pretty easy to do, easy chart to follow, relatively narrow dress till you get to the bottom and all that. So it was pretty easy to go back and forth between helping kids sit down for 10 minutes and put in some stitches, get up, help somebody else find something or do something or log into something, sit back down and have 20 minutes and then get back up. And it was just, it was a year of like very interrupted stitching. And it was a very stressful year for me. Obviously the pandemic is stressful for everybody. People handled, I think, like the schooling situation differently. I'm very grateful I could be there for my kids. I think my kids did get some things out of it. I got some things out of homeschooling them for that year, but it was very stressful. I found it very stressful. I was kind of on edge 24/7 for a whole school year. It was hard. My kids were home. They did hybrid, so they were home 3 days a week and at school 2 days a week. So she's kind of my memory of that. You know, she's what I was doing most of the time when I wasn't helping one of my kids. And if for nothing else, she's special for that reason, aside from just being a celebration of Mirabilia and something that's brought a lot of joy and beauty to my life. This butterfly charm comes with the pattern. I believe this pattern's more expensive than your typical Mirabilia because it has the charm included in it. This is almost all what's called for. The only change I made was this here. Oh, and I'm not even going to remember what I used. So the called for, okay, well, let me say I don't mind Kreinik so much. I totally understand why people hate it. I don't disagree with the challenges it poses, but it doesn't happen to get on my nerves a whole lot. This whole dress was supposed to be that awful DMC, like E something. Not the Diamant, which I have to admit I haven't used yet, but like it I was like, it can't be that bad. I'd never used it before. I was like, I'm an experienced stitcher. It can't be that bad. Mirabilia charts call for it like pretty frequently. So do a lot of lavender and laces. I was like, I'm gonna have to stitch with it eventually. Can't be that bad, right? Well, I was totally proven wrong. So I used it in that key. It was supposed to be in that key, and then it was also supposed to be all of this. It was supposed to be like that silver or gold color or something. That key almost broke me. It was horrible. I hated this stuff so much. If any of you are like bemoaning having to work with Kreinik, go stitch with the DMC. It was like E168 or something. For like 10 stitches, you will never complain about Kreinik again. It was so bad. So I did it for the key and then was like, that's enough. I'm not doing that anymore. And I think I'm pretty, it's Kreinik. I ended up using Kreinik. And it's just like, I can look it up. If anybody wants to know exactly what I used for this part of the like shawl or whatever that is, the back of her dress, the like cape, whatever, let me know. Just message me on Instagram or ask me in the comments, and I will look it up. But it's like, I think it might even be like 032. It's used as a blending film. Like I used the number 4, one strand of the number 4, like I used the number 4 single. But I feel like it's the 032, which is often used as a blending filament because it just gives that like shimmery. And that was kind of the look that I was going for. It made me think of, with all of the 2 shades of what she has, 2 water lilies in her. There's like the yellowish shade and the purpley shade that are in the center of her dress. And especially the purples, like they made me just think of that sort of like, I don't know what it's called. There's like the sort of thing you think of making fairy wings with, or like it's a fabric that you can make like fairy wings or like shimmery skirt, like princess kind of thing. I don't know if any of you have any idea what I'm talking about, but that's what this made me think of. I ordered a couple of different Kreiniks to try them out and see what I liked the best. Like I had some different silvers and like metallic tones, and then I also ordered this, and this was the clear winner. Really, really loved how this looked. I'm thrilled with how she turned out. I'm thrilled with the framing job. Very happy to have her back. And she's heavy. Ooh, sorry for bumping. Need to make sure she's safe. And she's also heading to my cabin here soon. So I'm glad I got this opportunity to show her. I don't know when I'm going to have another finished Mirabilia, but I'm really, really thrilled to have those 2. So yay, celebrate with me. I'm so excited, in case you couldn't tell. Really excited to have those back. It was hard to have them out of my hands for so long. I understand why, Jill Renzel's framing shop is really, can get really backed up. So I totally get it. Sorry, I'm messing with my necklace. It's like the chains kind of stuff. Anyway, really excited to have him back. So on to what I've actually been stitching around here. I think I got most of it here. I have been doing a lot of different kinds of stitching. I don't know, lately I feel like I haven't been settling a whole lot to like any one thing, but I have been pretty consistently, move this up, working on, I have a thread there, working on my Teresa Wensler, and I have it out of the Q-snap so you can see the whole thing. I worked a bunch. Oh, I was so happy. I started this part of the tail. Well, I should show you the pattern or the picture. So I started this. I've been eyeing this part of the tail for weeks and just wanting to get going on it. And so finally I jumped down there. I did a bunch more in the wings, like these panels of wings, some there. I did some more of the purple, I believe, and some in, I'm working on some of this here right now, this purple shade. See, this is what the part that's or the time that's dangerous for me, because I look at this some days and I'm like, I'm almost done. Look at how far I've come. It won't be that much further before I get the whole thing done. And then the other part of my brain kicks in and is like, who are you kidding? This might be like another 2 years of work. I really don't know, because I've never finished a Teresa Wensler. Oh, that castle looks good, even though it's not even close to done. I still have a lot of the dragon's head. It's part of his head right there. I'm just very happy with how that's coming along. I'm probably going to stitch on her some more tomorrow. Today is a Monday. I'm hoping to put in some time on Mirabilia later today for Mirabilia Monday stitching, I think is the hashtag, that Lisa Crossedbyfloss does, and I try to participate in most weeks. I don't always make it, but most weeks I manage to. So that is kind of my focus for now. Excuse me. Still getting over that cold I had last week. That's the only piece that like I'm really focused on, like consistently wanting to work on it a day or two each week, and hopefully get it done sooner rather than later. I stitched on some other kind of oldies this week. This one, I don't think I've ever shown on a Flosstube before. Oh, I hope I wasn't showing the chart. My apologies if you saw part of the chart. It's like a 12-page chart, so if you got a glimpse of one page, good luck to you getting the whole thing. I'm taking off the Q-snaps, which I probably wouldn't do, except, like I said, I don't think I've shown this on here before, and so you might want to see the whole thing, because true to how I usually stitch, I jump all over the place on this. This is Beatrix Potter Colors. I love Beatrix Potter. Absolutely love this. And actually the artwork, almost more than the stories. I'm a really big fan. They're just so beautiful, and they make me think of all good things childhood. I love them. So I started this piece before I even ever got pregnant. More than 12 years ago. It's not done. It was gonna like hang in our kids', you know, nursery. I made Beatrix Potter curtains that were adorable. This never got done. But it's also massive. This is 28 count casual linen. I don't know, it's like probably almost 3 feet wide. Oh, I don't know if I said, my Teresa Wensler's on 28 count Monica. So this is what I was working on. I was working on this end here working on this end here. The needle minder's Clay by Kim. Sorry, there's threads and floss hanging everywhere. She's got a basket of laundry down here. Here's Peter's coat. I'll just go on down the line showing you what I've done. Now if you noticed that Goose obviously needs to have some back stitch. All the white parts will show up better. There's a lot of back stitching that goes in this on the end, at the end. If you noticed on the cover picture, you're supposed to stitch the colors, like the color names above them, like each outfit is a different color, and you stitch it either above or below. I'm not planning on doing that. I'm going to leave out the stitching of the colors, which hopefully isn't going to be too hard. The only color name that runs in to one of the figures is right here, and I think I'll be able to fudge that just fine. So luckily I love Beatrix Potter all on my own, because this is going to be hung up when it's done. And then I don't know, maybe one day if I have grandkids, I don't know, this might go in like a guest bedroom that gets used when grandkids are visiting or something. But I really enjoy this one, and I really want to have it done. Sometimes I reach for my Mirabilias, and obviously I love Mirabilia, but sometimes I reach for them so much that I kind of almost like forget about the other things that I also, you know, really love and would like to have done. So I'm trying to keep this kind of out and at hand so that I can kind of stitch on it whenever the need grabs me, so that I can make some progress on it, hopefully see it done at some point. What's next? Here, I'll show Damask Roses. I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap. All my see-through fabric. This is a Wishelt. It's like a Wishelt natural linen, 28 count. Also a Clay by Kim needleminder. I did a bunch of this part of her dress here. I don't think I did any skin or hair this time. I didn't get a ton done on her, but anything's progress, and I've shown it in other videos. You can't see well here, but I do have chunks of dress done down towards the bottom. I mean, she's nowhere near being done, but I have more done than just what's shown here. But I'm really into like I think I'm gonna keep the Q-snap here and finish up this part of her. Like lately I've been really enjoying doing that. I don't necessarily need to start at the face, but kind of early on, stitching that face, getting to see who they are, getting that even that back stitching in, seeing how beautiful they are, kind of makes it more enjoyable to stitch the rest of it, at least lately for me. All right, let's talk about Clay by Kim for a minute, because I'm going to keep saying Clay by Kim because it's almost all of the needle minders I own are Clay by Kim. Many of you, if not all of you, probably already know who Clay by Kim is. When I started watching Flosstube a couple of years ago, like right around the beginning of the pandemic, I became aware of Clay by Kim. I think Kokahama Stitchery was where I first saw a Clay by Kim, and of course I fell in love. I am a dragon-loving fantasy nerd. Like, instantly fell in love. I actually didn't even use needle minders until I found out about Clay by Kim, and then I was like, oh, now that's a needle minder worthy of putting on my cross stitch. I want some Clay by Kim. I then spent 6 months, no joke, like daily dragon hunting, trying to get a hold of Clay by Kim. Didn't manage to for 6 months. And then I spent, I think maybe like 3 months or so only getting flowers, which I love the flowers. Nothing against the flowers. But you know what I was really going for was dragons. At some point, we hit our mojo and got managed to get tons of dragons. Now we can pretty consistently get them when I want them. I don't get them much anymore because I basically have what I wanted. I managed to collect most of the kinds of dragons that I really wanted to. She kind of goes on like an annual cycle. like, you know, Valentine's dragons in like January and early February, that kind of thing. So I don't go after them so much anymore. But for those of you who want clay by Kim and haven't managed to get any, all I can say is like keep at it, because I went through such a long period of getting none, and then like all of a sudden kind of figured out how to do it, and how to make it work for us and how to get in there really fast, and was able to collect quite a few of them. So for those of you who struggle to get them, I feel your pain, and good luck. I will be wishing you great luck that that you're able to get some going forward. I was actually really happy we found Clay by Kim. Clay by Kim, I think, holds a special place in the heart for all of my family members. Clay by Kim kind of got us through a large part of the pandemic. The whole family, so my kids right now are 7, 9, and 11. They were 5, 7, and 9 when the pandemic hit. Dragon hunting on Clay by Kim's Etsy website. She now has her own website. The whole family got involved. It was something like silly and frivolous and fun to look forward to for the whole family. My kids would ask, like they'd be in between classes and they'd come in and give me a hug and be like, did Kim drop any? Did you find any dragons? No, I didn't. And then every once in a while I'd get one, and it would be like a huge party for the whole family. It was just nice how this like little, in the grand scheme of things, insignificant thing, right, of needle minders, it became this this focus for my family that I really feel like got us through, or helped get us through to a really significant extent, just because it served that purpose of like giving us something joyful to focus on during a time when it just felt like there was just too much worry. You know, everything had shut down. Nobody was going to school. You couldn't see your friends or family. All activities were done. Like, you know, but Mom, did you get a dragon? You know, it was just this. Anyway, for us, the Clay by Kims have like, they're not just needle minders. Like, they have this extra special place in our heart. Sorry for getting all like weird and mushy there for a while, but I kind of wanted to explain my obsession with Clay by Kim. Okay. This next one is not my fault. This is a new start. And it is the fault of Kitschy Whips on Instagram. Aphrodite Mermaid. I can't even remember how all of this went down. I just know she put up a picture that she'd gotten it all kitted up. Like, her stuff showed up in the mail or something. I don't know. By the like an hour later, we'd both started ours. I did not get very far. But I got one strand put in. This is also a Clay by Kim needle minder. This is a also a silk weaver from like way back in the day. I wouldn't buy silk weaver probably ever again, but sorry, not my favorite at the moment. But yeah, that's all I got in. But it was like, I think it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I was like done for the night, and I was in bed, and I was like scrolling on my phone and talking to her, and then like the next thing I know, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll start her, because I had her kitted up already. So this is part of her tail. Part of her tail there on her left. And that's it. No idea when she could possibly be finished. I have some other mermaids I would definitely like to finish before her, like Renaissance Mermaid, which I also was stitching on, influenced by Kitschy Whips, because hers is amazing, and I had it as a whip and inspired me to get it out. And so there's one more. I think I have like 63 Mirabilia whips now. I counted the other day. It was 62, and then I started that one. So 63. Oh, I better put this down here so I don't forget that I showed it to you. I'll show you something little. So this is my little like fun, I'm too tired to stitch, but I want to stitch anyway pouch. I got this off, it's Annie Thornalley on Instagram. I mean, it's a very small pouch. Like, it's not big enough for most cross-stitch project bags, but I love these fabrics. I mean, it's beautiful. I think those might be all Liberty of London fabrics. I keep an assortment of, I'll try to show you. I keep an assortment of sulkies in here. These are actually all of the variegated sulkies. So I keep those in here. And this is like the pouch I just play with. I also have, okay, this is another thing my family does because it's fun, is make these beeswax molds. You can buy beeswax and buy like silicone molds, and you just melt the beeswax and like pour it in. And it's incredibly fun. And I got this mold not that long ago, and we had so much fun. I think it turned out really great. I love with like the sunflower and the bee. I love that. I don't always use beeswax on my threads, but I love the smell. The smell just makes me happy. And I do sometimes use it. I don't use it on my Mirabilias or big pictorial pieces like that, but smaller, more primitive pieces, things where I have one strand, I often will use it really if for no other reason than because the smell makes me happy. So this is Heartstring Samplery. She has, I think it's Festive Little Fobs. She has this whole series of, like you buy one pattern and it's got like, I don't know, maybe 10 or so like really small designs like this that can be made into scissor fobs. So I finished this one, and I just grabbed variegated sulkies from here that I thought would look good. This is the deer. Like, sometimes that's the kind of creative mood I'm in, is just to like play and like play and pick colors in a low risk kind of situation. So not like I'm gonna stitch the whole Mirabilia and decide it's the wrong color and tear it out because I don't like my conversion and start over kind of thing. But you know, like this is tiny, right? This is really tiny. And then this is just another one I started, which I think is a tree and a pot, and there's gonna be like a moon up here. So I just have these little scraps. Like this is a scrap of 28 count Lugana, I think, that were offcuts from something else. I just keep these in here, and like I said, when I'm like, I want to stitch, but I'm like too tired. I'm not the only one that gets that way, right? That happens to some of you. Like, and I don't want to just waste the evening like scrolling on my phone. But like, I know I don't have it in me to like hold a stitching frame. I just get this out. It's just small little something to stitch in hand. And that's it. For those of you who didn't watch my, or if you did, you still might want to see it, my Stitch With Me, what I did was I started Moonflowers, and it was my last video. What I did was I showed like start to finish exactly how I go about starting a Mirabilia. This is one that I want to do for my daughter. She might not get it till she's, you know, 40, but wanted to do it for her. So this is just what I got done. This is this is Wishel fabric, so completely see-through. This is what I got done in that Stitch With Me when I started it. I haven't worked on it since. Of course, that was only a few days ago. And this is just, it's her, part of her hair and that flower in the back there. It's just what I started. I don't know why that pink, I think it's 917, 915, something like that, is just making me happy. It was the other day when I did this too. It just, I guess I'm in the right mood. I'm not like a pink person, but that pink is like really helping me right now. It's just hitting me in exactly the right way, exactly what I think I need at the moment. Another Mirabilia. I'm almost done. I was thinking this would be a short video. Might be a short video. Famous last words, right? So this, I've just put a little bit more in on, this is Emerald Mermaid that I'm stitching on. This is like, I don't remember what it's called, but it's just a navy, I think, Wishelt. It does show up better in person than it's showing up on the camera. There's dark green that goes through there. I'm doing this kind of as an experiment. She's a relatively small Mirabilia, and I want to see how she's going to look on this dark fabric. Now, there's also a brighter, I think a Krynic, that goes between this green. Like, this green isn't going to be right against the blue fabric, but there is a lot of that green in like the seaweed that goes around her. I'm considering changing that to like a water lily, maybe a variegated water lily or something that might show up a little bit better. But for right now, I'm just stitching her. That's what I have. Emerald Mermaid for many years was my favorite. I saw her, a model of her stitched at my, at the time, LNS, and fell in love. Looked way better in person than I ever would have imagined she did, just from looking at the chart. Okay, oh, I feel like I'm cruising here. So I also, excuse me, I joined the Fancy Lady stitching meetup that Pam at Stitchinginthelandofgoodenough, she has a Flosstube here, is doing. She also has a store, Stitch New England, that she opened recently. And I've been enjoying her Flosstubes, especially since she opened the store. I find that interesting. I find the, like, how she's navigating the store thing interesting. So she started a Fancy Lady, like, Zoom meetup thing each month. And I've been stitching, so they've only had their first meeting so far. And I started, oh, I don't have a cover picture. Bear with me. I started a Joan Elliott. Here I am. I feel like I am the, like, I'm the Mirabilia person. Like, I mean, I'm not the only Mirabilia person. There's a bunch of us. But, like, that's what I, like, that's what I love. That's what I spend most of my time doing. Adore Mirabilias, can talk about them and stitch them, you know, till the cows come home, whatever, as much as you want. I love Mirabilias. And then I'm, like, the only person in the Fancy Lady stitching meetup who's not stitching a Mirabilia. Not literally. There were, I think, a couple of others. But, not many. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up a picture of this so you can see it. So I started, I started Sleeping Beauty by Joan Elliott. I am not a, like, 100% Joan Elliott fan. I don't love all of her stuff. I think it's her artwork, like, converted, I think, right? I don't know, somebody knows out there, let me know. I don't love all of her stuff, but the Sleeping Beauty had me. And I just sat there and stitched in hand, and I think we were on for, what, like 2-3 hours? And I'm actually pretty happy. I mean, I was talking, I was listening, and still felt like quite a bit done. This is the start of one of the arches. This is her hair. I was pretty pleased with that. I'm not a fast stitcher. And at the moment, at least, I'm still slower in hand if I'm doing poke and stab, which I was. I do poke and stab with 2 strands. This is a 28 count color and cotton, I believe. Let me see if I have a slip in here. Sometimes I put, oh, nope, it's not color and cotton. I'm glad I looked it up. It's Morning Glory by Bestitch Me. It's 28 count fat quarter. Bestitch Me. These fabrics I love. So very happy with that. And I'm probably going to keep working on that whenever we're doing that meetup, and probably in between those meetups some too. Oh goodness. I am like losing stuff left and right. Haha, good. Lost my slip for a minute that told me who the giveaway winner is, but I found it. So something else I've been doing. I think if you've watched me before, you know that I'm happy to, when I see a stitch piece at Goodwill or like on eBay or Etsy or something, somebody's just like getting rid of, destashing. Like often, I don't go after pieces. I don't tend to go after pieces that I think people are like stitching for profit, if that makes sense. But when I see somebody who I get the impression it's like they used to stitch and they're clearing out their stuff, or maybe it's somebody who's clearing out their mother's or their grandmother's stuff, that sort of thing, I'll often buy things. So I saw an ad, and I don't remember how much this ended up costing, but it was not much. I tend, like eBay and stuff, I'm not willing to spend much because like I don't know what I'm actually gonna get. You know, I feel like I'm always surprised, at least a little bit. Like something about a piece always surprises me. So I don't spend any money I'm not willing to lose, if that makes sense. So I saw this come up. I think it was on eBay. This is a Paula Vaughn, and I had been thinking for a while that I kind of wanted to try stitching a Paula Vaughn. I don't know, like lately I've been in kind of like a cottagey, homey, like warmth, snuggly, flowers, quilts kind of mood, and that's kind of Paula Vaughn. You know? I've been thinking I wanted to stitch one, but I didn't know what one to stitch. And I was just indecision. I think most of her charts I think are pretty readily available. I didn't really want to stitch one of the fancy lady Paula Vaughns. That's not what tends to do it for me. I like the like homey Paula Vaughns. Like the ones on the, like the front porch and that sort of thing. So this came up. I don't know, it was cheap. It was not much at all. It was no more than I was willing to waste if it came and was awful. So I've actually put a bunch of work in, well, not a bunch, I've put some work into this. So almost all of the cross stitches were complete when it showed up. There were just a few, like I had to put a few in down here. I'm back stitching down the tablecloth now. I had to put just half a dozen stitches in down here. There's a few up here around the trees and the roof line, like just a few, like there's 1 or 2 stitches of a color that need to be put in. I had to put in those 3 stitches in that darker brown shade. Like there's just a few missing here and there. And then she had done a lot of the back stitching. So I'm assuming it was a she. It absolutely could have been a man. That was totally sexist for me to say she. Whoever did this had done, I apologize for the sexism. Whoever had done this had done like all of that back stitching of the house's siding and down there on the paneling, the floor of the porch, and what's there so far in the swing. Like they'd done a bunch of it. But I've started putting in back stitching. Like I've done all of this back stitching. I basically have started back stitching, and when I see or find, you know, a rogue stitch here or there that needs to be filled in, I grab the color and fill it in. And I'm having fun. This is fun. This is cool. I don't know that I've ever done that before. I've bought completed projects that somebody else did, but I don't know that I've ever taken somebody else's project and finished it. And it's really fun. I'm really, really enjoying doing it. And it's gonna be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful when it's complete, and I don't mind back stitching at all. I enjoy it. It doesn't bother me a bit. I know some people hate it, but I'm fine with it. The surprise that I had with this one, I've never seen this, and I don't know if this is like a thing or if this person invented this. This is stitched on Aida. I'm pretty sure that this is 20, I didn't count it, but I think this is 20 count Aida, but they've done it over 2 like Aida squares. I don't know if you can see that. But this is definitively Aida. It is not linen or Lugana. It is Aida with like the woven squares. But they've done it over 2 squares. So it's like the equivalent of 10 count. Is that right? Yeah, it's 10 count. So these X's are huge. And the coverage is pretty sparse because she used 2 strands. I did have to buy the chart, which I think I got for like $2.99 on eBay. I had to buy the chart in order to finish it, which I knew I'd have to do because the seller said that it was almost complete. So I'm not sure the seller knew about backstitching. But, and it didn't come with a chart, so I had to get the chart, but I knew I could get it. I ordered it the same time that I ordered this. Yeah, so the chart, it doesn't tell you, and I don't know if I've seen this before, it doesn't tell you how many strands to use. It gives you like suggestions depending on what count fabric you're going to use, which is totally fine because people should be able to make their own decisions, right? Like some people like more coverage, some people like less coverage. But that's a decision I think that often, at least beginner stitchers, shy away from making. Of course, I don't know how many beginner stitchers pick up a Paula Vaughn. It's the sort of thing I would have done, like not knowing any better. I was buying Teresa Wentzler's for my first project. But anyway, it's beautiful. I'm very happy to be doing it, and I'm really looking forward to having it be done. I've been spending actually quite a lot of time in the evenings listening to audiobooks and doing backstitching. But I'm really enjoying it, and there's something really satisfying about taking a piece of needlework that that somebody else began. I don't know who that was. I don't know the story of this piece or why they chose it or if it was meant as a gift for somebody or anything. I don't know anything about it, but it feels like there's something special about taking a piece that began its story elsewhere and completing its story, you know, and bringing it into my home and finishing it up, and eventually it'll be hanging on our wall. And there's not that much left to do. It's a lot of backstitching, but it is almost entirely backstitching. You know, whoever began this, did the vast majority of the work. So I just kind of need to do the finishing touches. The other thing that I have been doing is I started some embroidery. So I'm going to include this in the cross stitch section because I feel like it's decorative hand stitching. It's in the same vein. I have becoming a more proficient embroiderer on my bucket list. It's something I really want to do. For those of you who are quilters, there's the Crabapple Hill Studio, I believe, that does a lot of embroidered quilts that are just beautiful. I own several of their I could have just looked at this. I own several of their patterns. It is Crabapple Hill. If you guys watch Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, she's done several, I think at least a couple of their Halloween quilts. They have amazing Halloween pieces. I've had this for ages. It was actually it was almost 5 years ago, like 5 years ago exactly, that I traced the pattern onto my fabric and like pulled thread and stuff. And then it's just sat in this bag for ages. This is a really small project bag I made with leftovers from a shirt that I made for myself years ago. So the thing with cross stitch is like, I feel like I know what I'm doing, right? You put me in a cross stitch store, I know what I'm doing. You hand me a chart, I know the different flosses and fibers and sizes of needles and beads, and like, I get it. Like, I speak the language and I know what I'm doing. I'm not the best at it, but like, I understand it. And like I said, I feel like I speak the language. I don't speak embroidery language. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. And I think the problem is worse than, I think it's worse than it is. So I started this. I was very proud of myself. Some of you might have seen I posted on Instagram. It's all traced in there very faintly. I basted a background. I don't like ironing. I don't like the interfacings. I don't like ironing around, so I basted a backing to it. Anyway, I started the embroidery because I looked through the instructions, I thought, and was like, oh, it doesn't tell me how many strands to use. I don't know how many strands to use. And so I started with way too many. This is like awful. I did this bee. It says bramble. I did the bee and was like, this is all, I think I was using all like 6 strands. I was like, this is just miserable trying to get it through this fabric. I hate it. I go back to the instructions because I'm like, it's got to say it somewhere in here. It does. I just didn't read it properly or like well enough. It does. I think it says to use like 2 strands. So then I started using 2 strands and it's much better, but still I think I'm using, yeah, I'm trying to use a stem stitch. Every time I do stem stitch, I'm like, this looks awful. I know the diagrams, like I know in theory how you're supposed to do it. It looks awful. I worked on this a little bit, was proud of myself for pulling it out, but still not feeling great about how it was going. And then I found, oh, I gotta put the chart back with it or I'll lose it. So, whose Flosstube was I watching? I don't know whose it was. But I saw somebody mention cottage garden threads. Cottage garden threads. Which you can get at Fat Quarter Shop, I know. I don't know if there's other place to get them. I think they're an Australian mother-daughter team, if I remember correctly. And I love trying new fibers. So I did put a couple skeins in with my most recent order from Fat Quarter Shop, but it hasn't showed up yet. Because I quilt, I feel like I order from Fat Quarter Shop like every 2 weeks. Anyway, when I was looking, I don't know what shop I got this from. I don't know, I'd have to look. Might have been Snuggly Monkey. Snuggly Monkey, which is like the most adorable shop name ever, is a shop that I order from time to time, and I really like, and that might be where I got this pattern, but I'm not sure. Anyway, when I searched cottage garden threads, this pattern came up for a work cushion, and those are their threads, like in these little pockets on the cushion, and I was like, oh, that's adorable. That's like another needlework like notion that I can make a little cushion. And I often, when I'm hand quilting, will just have like a pillow, like a small pillow on my lap, just to help support the weight. I don't use a hoop or anything, but just kind of to like keep my arm position comfortable and whatnot. And it's got embroidery in the middle, and I was like, that's adorable. I want to try that. So, sorry for the crinkle. I've been spending a good bit of time doing this as well. See my pile over here, right? Oh, chart. I don't mean to be showing chart. Okay. I started this embroidery, and I'm not using like the colors and stuff that they suggest or call for. This is what theirs looks like. And it's like, I feel like very modern, very muted tones. I had this group of flosses that I had bought to try out. They were like little packs of colors that went together. I mean, they're very pretty colors. I think this was from Snuggly Monkey. It's called Sublime Floss. I have to say it's not my favorite floss. It feels very rough to my hands, but the colors are beautiful. And I decided to just play with those for this embroidery. It's fun, you know, I'm just picking colors as I go. My pile falls over. I'm just picking colors as I go, And this is all backstitch. All of this, I'm using like a dark teal blue for this outline. It's all backstitch. I found my stitch. I have to say, doing this, all of a sudden, I do feel so much better. And I'm gonna feel much better going back to that Crabapple Hill Studio piece. Still not like the best embroiderer, which is fine. That's not really my goal. I just wanna feel like competent enough at it that I'm actually enjoying it, which I haven't in the past. Well, this I'm enjoying. I am really, really enjoying doing this. So I just need to finish up the embroidery and then make it into the pillow. I have to say, I really don't know what I'm doing. So this came with like the iron-on transfer, and I've traced tons of times in my life. I've traced a design, mostly for applique, like onto a backing so you place your pieces correctly and stuff. I've never used one of the like iron-on transfers to like get your image on something. I like scorched my fabric. It's like awful. You can't, it's not even like clear. That image actually went like all the way through this dual layer of fabric to my ironing board. It's user error. I'm sure it's not like the pattern's fault. I just, yeah, that's my level of competence with embroidery. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. I'm experimenting with the way different like stitches and things can look, and I'm looking forward to having that pillow done. Okay. Let's do the giveaway. Meaning last week's giveaway. I do not have a new giveaway for this week. So if you watched my last regular Flosstube, I was giving away this, a copy of Ophelia, because I have 4 copies. If you want to find out why I have 4 copies, you have to go watch the last Flosstube. Anyway, gonna give away Ophelia, and I did the random comment generator thing, and the winner is Hanny? So Helen, I'm probably gonna wait until this video's been up for a few days, and then I will go back and comment on your last comment. I apparently some people, and I understand this, some people like to like watch the Flosstube and like be surprised if they hear their name. So I'm gonna give it a few days in case you get to watch my Flosstube, and then I'll go back and comment on your comment. So you are the winner. I will write my email address in the drop-down box in like the description, because I do have an email address for this Flosstube account, and it is fiberartsamy@gmail.com. Your best way to get a hold of me is either to email me there. So now I have to remember to actually check that email that I use for nothing except this. So you need to email me at fiberartsamy@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram, where I'm also fiberartsamy, so I can get you your so I can get your address, and then I can mail this out to you. So congratulations, Helen! Yay! So just a little bit about plans. You know, I just do whatever I feel like doing. So at the moment, I feel like continuing to work on Princess and the Dragon. So let's talk about Princess and the Dragon for a minute. Clearly, I have a bit of an over-shopping situation. It's not new. And back in the day, like 2004, 2000 to 2007-ish, somewhere in there, you used to be able to get kits of Teresa Wentzler's at like Hobby Lobby and stuff. And I actually don't shop at Hobby Lobby anymore, but I did a long time ago. And at some point they stopped carrying them, and they put them all on clearance. And I used to travel for work. So I used to visit a Hobby Lobby in like every town that I went to. I was traveling by car. So I wasn't like dealing with luggage on an airplane and stuff. I had a really hard time leaving a Teresa Wentzler behind. It's embarrassing. Like, I would go into a Hobby Lobby and I might find something new that I didn't have that I wanted, but like they might also have like another copy of a kit that like I might already have, but like it was on clearance. I didn't want to leave the poor dragon in a Hobby Lobby. What if nobody picked him up? Like, that's so sad. Some of you might be sitting there being like, I totally understand. And some of you are probably sitting there being like, she's nuts. And either way, I'm fine with that. I have a hard time leaving a dragon behind. So I don't know. I don't have a giveaway for today. I don't know exactly when the next time is I'm going to do a giveaway, but I have planned a future giveaway that I want to tease and tell you about because I'm really excited about it. When I finish Princess and the Dragon, I'm going to give away this. This is not the one I'm working from. So look at that. Look at that. $11.16. $11.16. Who could leave that dragon in the store for $11.16? Now, to be fair, this was before I had children. So, like, I had spending money back then. But I have this full kit for Princess and the Dragon. And this is exactly what I'm working from. I had another one. The one that I'm stitching from is identical to this, although I think I replaced the fabric because their fabric doesn't usually have a big margin on it. But when I finish her, as a celebration, I'm gonna give away this other kit of Princess and the Dragon. I'm just really excited about that. Like, I want to share the Teresa Wentzler love and give this to somebody to work on. So, I don't know, sometime in the next 100 years, when I finish it, I'm going to do that as a giveaway. So I want to keep working on mine. I really need to get back to Moonlight Lullaby, which is the piece I'm doing as the Mirabilia. I'm doing as a birth sampler for my daughter to give to my mother-in-law. I want to finish that Paula Vaughn. I'd love to get that finished. And then I'd love to finish that last embroidery piece I was showing and get it finished into a pillow and everything. I don't know. Keep plugging along. Whatever strikes me at any given moment. I've also been doing a lot of quilting lately, which I'm going to be working on some. All right, I'm going to stop talking about cross stitch. If any of you only come for the cross stitch and you don't want to hear anything else, now's a good time to skedaddle. Go on to another Flosstube. For those of you who want to hear me yammer on about sewing and quilting for a few minutes, hang on out. I don't have a lot to say, but a little bit. So I have been quilting kind of a lot. I don't know if I've explained this before. I mean, I have a lot of cross stitch whips, but I have easily as many quilting whips. I mean, just tons of them. And maybe a year and a half ago-ish, I decided to pull out a lot of my like oldest quilting whips and start getting them done. Just focus on, like, pick one, focus on it, get it done, and get it quilted. They've been sitting around for so dang long, and I wanted to start finishing some of them beautiful quilts. I do tend to, my favorite quilts are relatively simple, usually. I tend not to, I say this, and I've actually been getting into some really elaborate, like, English paper piecing, but my favorite quilts are pretty simple, traditional quilts, typically, to make and to use. Our quilts get, like, thrown all over the house. I have a couple of, like, wall quilts, but for the most part, they're all just, like, big, oversized, like, kids drag them around on the floor. They get put outside for picnics. They're on our beds to sleep under. They're whatever. They get used like crazy. So they're all, like, strictly utilitarian quilts. I'm obviously not the sort of person that, like, has a pristine, decorated home. Because our stuff's just, like, thrown about all over the place. Anyway, I've been doing that. I'm actually really proud of myself. I have finished probably at least a dozen quilts in the last like 12 to 18 months, gotten them to the long armor and gotten them quilted. I got the last batch from her back, I think in like November. I've just been finishing lots of stuff. Not only old stuff, like I made a new quilt for my mother-in-law that I gave to her for Christmas. It was very simple. It was just some large tumbling blocks. Very simple quilt. But she loves it. Anyway, I've been getting lots of stuff done, but I'm continuing that. I am continuing to like revisit these older projects that have been sitting around for ages and just need to get done. And this is one of those. And I'm not going to be able to like show the whole thing, but it's very simple. It's just a 4-patch on point. And I can tell you that the reason it was not getting done is the reason a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but some of them weren't getting done, is because of the fabric. Now, I love this quilt. I'm so happy I got the quilt top done. I'm going to put it on our bed, and because it is queen size, I made it very, very big. It actually could like fit a king size bed, but not with like a huge drop. I love this quilt, but the reason why this one and several of the others hadn't been getting done was because they're in fabrics from Joann's. I have nothing against fabrics from Joann's, or for all of you out there in quilty land, or even if you never quilted before, buy whatever fabric you can or you want or that makes you happy. When I started quilting, I bought fabric at Joann's. It was what I could afford, but I also didn't know any better. Meaning I didn't know that there could be a huge difference between the quality of fabrics you find at Joann's and the fabrics that you find at a local quilt shop, at an actual quilt shop. And once I discovered local quilt shops, I fell in love with their fabrics and basically stopped wanting to use the fabrics from Joann's. So this quilt, I had stitched all of the 4-patches. And there's tons of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 81 4-patches. I had stitched all of the 4-patches, and I had assembled like half of the, because it's sewn together in diagonals, I had sewn together half of those. And then I discovered quilt shop fabrics, and it isn't even just the quality of them, the variety, right? Like the sheer options that you have at a quilt shop that you do not get at a Joann's, or at least at any Joann's I've been in. I basically just put away all of the quilts I'd been working on fabrics from Joann's and just like set them aside and moved on. But the thing is, I still love these quilts. They're still beautiful. They're still going to keep us warm. There's nothing wrong with them. I certainly don't see a quilt somebody's made out of fabrics from Joann's and be like, well, it would be good if only you'd use local quilt shop fabric. That's not it. Part of picking up these old whips was like, this is ridiculous. I need to get these back out. I have lots of quilts on my bed made out of fabrics from Joann's, and they're some of the best quilts that we have. You know, like the favorites. And you know, we talk about the fabrics being lower quality. We, meaning like those of us, I guess, in the quilting world. But I've never had a problem with any of them. And our quilts get used really hard. I do think there's way more variety. I can certainly see how like there is technically a higher quality fabric you're getting at a quilt shop. But I guess what I'm saying is that doesn't mean you can't make a quilt out of these, and it doesn't mean that these quilts can't be still very special and lovely and loved and used. So these just go on forever. I still need to finish pressing it, and I need to go through and clip about 1,000 threads. So I'm going to leave it out, and I am going to leave it balled up because it does still need to be pressed anyway for the long armor. But I'm very happy to have that one done. It is one of my favorite quilt patterns ever. Just that simple 4-patch You know, it's a little bit different because it's done on point with the offsets, you know, plain squares, but I love it. Absolutely love that quilt. Simple, fun to make, pretty when it's done. So anyway, that's my latest quilting finish. I also have started the, I can't believe I'm blanking, the Lori Holt chicken salad quilts, which I don't have the picture to show you. But she started her quilt along today. And I have a son who's obsessed with chickens. Pretty sure I've mentioned that before. And so her chicken salad quilt is these 12 applique chickens. And I also love applique. So I have started that quilt. I mean, there's nothing done to show you yet, but that's kind of my plan. I really want to, I never keep up with things, but I really want to keep up with this. And so far I'm off to a good start. I actually yesterday did all of the pieced cutting, like the cutting for all the pieced elements of the quilt. And I also cut the applique pieces for the first block. And this morning I did a lot of the hand sewing. Oh, my husband's coming home. My dog's gonna get excited. Please pardon the noise. So I did a lot of the hand sewing for the first block. So there's you do one chicken a week. So I need to keep up with that. I need to finish that chicken this week, hopefully, and be ready. I think a new chicken, like you do a new one each Monday. So I'm really hoping to keep up with that. And then I also have a whole bunch of just older whips that are in line that I want to finish, which I will show you as I get them done. So that's it, guys. Thank you for hanging around with me here today. If you have any questions, or if you want me to look anything up, like about my gel rental finishes, like I talked about the Lady Mirabilia, which Kreinik I used, just you can DM me on Instagram or ask me in the comments below, and I'll look it up. But that's basically it. Thank you guys very much, and I hope you have a good time stitching, and I'll talk to you here soon. Bye.